YouTube changed my life. I want to explain exactly how YouTube has changed my life, even with less than 500 subscribers, not being monetized, launching my channel only 4 months ago. I want to get into all the reasons already that YouTube has been one of the most life-changing decisions I've ever made. So let's get into it. If you're new here, I'm Jordan, and welcome back to my channel. I'm a narrative writer, director, and producer, and have been working in LA for the last 10 years. This channel is all about filmmaking techniques, the philosophy of art, creative and technical workflows, and what filmmaking can teach us about life. So here are a few of the essential ways that YouTube has already changed my life in such a short span of time. Accountability. YouTube has absolutely helped me stay accountable for hitting deadlines. I set a weekly deadline every week for myself to make sure that I get at least one video out every single week. This is partly to help feed the algorithm, but also to grow my subscriber base and my audience. But in a lot of ways, this is also such a great thing for a creative person like myself to have, because I'm constantly under a deadline to make sure that I shoot, plan out, edit, and get my videos scheduled on time so that every week I can deliver at least one video to my subscribers. While at times there are days or weeks where I might not necessarily want to actually put the effort into creating the idea for a video, shooting it, or editing it, I'm always so proud of myself and glad at the end of the week when I have a new video to deliver and I get to share that video with my community and see the response and see the reception of people who are tuning in. I'll never get sick of having people organically find the videos or reach out, especially strangers, and comment on the video or add to the discussion or say it was useful or helpful to them. That's absolutely my goal from the beginning, has always been to help people. Oftentimes working as a narrative director, there are so many deadlines that you have to hit, especially if a lot of money is on the line or you're working with a production company or a studio. And it's further validation every week that you hit the deadline that you'll be able to keep doing it and you keep yourself in the rhythm of the momentum. Keeping my video production and editing skills sharp. Since I studied film in high school and then also in college, but sometimes when you're out in the real world for long enough after you get out of school, it can be easier to sort of let those skills kind of fall by the wayside, or you can get very complacent, especially if you're working a day job that's not in the industry. It can be easy to not really exercise those skills or practice them or keep them sharp. So I think doing videos every single week has really allowed me to keep my editing skills and my production skills sharp. It forces you to constantly keep getting better, test out what's working and what's not based off the metrics, and then your channel gets better and grows over time. Improving communication on camera. One of my favorite things about launching the channel is it really has forced me to analyze my own communication skills. The amount of times that you're watching yourself on camera back and you're editing yourself, you get very, very familiar with your speaking patterns and the way that you take pauses and the way that you analyze thoughts, especially if some of the thoughts are stream of conscious and you're going off the script that you have written, like I'm probably doing right now. You can seek to improve or get better at certain parts of communicating, especially if you're finding that you take too long to explain a point or you're not quite as clear with it as you could be. And so I think this is a really great way to self-analyze and constantly improve your own communication skill set, remove certain filler words such as like or and I think this has really helped me stop and think about what I'm gonna say before I say it. I also think this has really helped me iron out some of the rambling that I tend to do. Sometimes I dance around a point way too long before I actually get to that point, and I could say it much more succinctly. So this has really helped me not only cut down on the scripts that I write for my YouTube videos, but it's also cut down on the amount of time it takes to record, edit, and deliver these videos. It's also helped me in my directing career, because now when I'm explaining certain concepts or I'm directing actors or crew on a set, I can often get to the point much quicker and more efficiently. It's also made me realize that I love the art of communication and the ability to talk on camera or talk to people or spread ideas through verbal communication, think out loud and talk it out to figure out what's going on in my brain. The more videos I do, the more comfortable I feel on camera. Since so many people have listed they would rather die than public speak, I used to be one of these people. So I think it's helped me grapple with a little bit of that preconceived fear I used to have for communication. A talker like me, I always have a lot to say about the things I care about, or even just the people skills and how to be a more ethical filmmaker. And these are concepts that I really care about and want to impart to you all. These are things that I think are really important to spread awareness to. And part of my goal with this channel is to also raise awareness for some of the injustices that happen in the film and TV industry. So these are things that I very much have gone through myself and have very strong thoughts on, and also very freeing and therapeutic, I would say. Learning the style of YouTube. So everything I studied in school really is focused more on narrative production, narrative filmmaking, working on a set with a crew, writing a script for a movie. So a lot of these things that we do on YouTube where it's a little bit more informal, or we're speaking directly to camera, to an audience, it very much was a style that I was not familiar with. And even just the style of editing, the quicker sentences. So I think YouTube is something that a lot of people look at good YouTubers, if they haven't done it themselves, and think, wow, this person's just talking to a camera. That must be pretty easy. You just turn it on and talk about what you want. But the reality is there's much more thought process and structure to not only how you're editing your videos, but the ability to retain viewers' interest, to get your watch hours, is very much a muscle. And it's a skill set that can be very different than making a longer form film or TV show. Also learning the psychology of YouTube and how you can retain viewers' attentions with certain techniques has been really interesting. And also things like how you come up with your concepts, how you come up with your scripts for the YouTube videos, how you come up with your thumbnails and what you put in the thumbnails. All of these things really play into the algorithm and how your videos can get discovered, or what attracts people's attention and makes them click on your thumbnail to watch your video from a sea of different thumbnails that pop up on their screen. I also think that a narrative filmmaker like myself can take some really good skill sets away from some of the YouTube practices. Things like trying to keep a viewer's attention and trying to retain a viewer's interest throughout an entire project is very much something we think about in YouTube. But for filmmakers, this is also something that's extremely important, especially if you're watching a streaming film or a show at home and you have the ability to easily change the channel. This becomes more important than ever, especially in today's viewing economy. Spreading my network. Since I launched my channel a little over 4 months ago, it's been absolutely incredible to see how many different new people online that I have connected to just from promoting my videos on different social platforms, people commenting organically, or people that I have reconnected with that I haven't talked to in a while. It's been so amazing just seeing the outreach of once I started the channel and started posting, how many different people really started to engage or let me know that they were watching that I didn't even know were watching. And it's been really cool just to see the community that starts to surround themselves and build you up and support you. You never really know who's watching, but it's really rewarding when people that you know are watching, and if they're getting value from your videos, that's even better and such a wonderful feeling to have as you do this work. In the last 4 months, I have actually had a couple other opportunities to reconnect or just get some other freelance opportunities or interviews just from starting the channel, especially when you consider at the very start how nervous and how much self-doubt I had before sending out my first video. I was terrified that the response was going to be the opposite, but it turns out people actually have been very supportive. So for anyone who's considering starting a channel, absolutely do it. It's going to be one of the most rewarding, hard, but rewarding things that you'll ever do, and you'll learn so much about yourself in the process. Reaching your target audience. When you start putting your videos out and you start posting more and more of them over time, you start to realize that your target audience starts to find your videos. And it's one of the most rewarding things, because for me, my target audience is the younger and up and coming filmmakers. And I'm starting to hear more and more from my network of people that are younger filmmakers or film students that are still in school that I know reach out to me and tell me they're watching the videos or that they find them interesting and helpful. The ultimate goal of the channel was always to help people, teach people some of the lessons and help them avoid pitfalls that I wish I had avoided as a young filmmaker when I first started. And so to hear that even in some small ways already, it is helping people and it's adding value is the best thing that I could have ever hoped for this channel. And that alone is reason enough to have started this channel. Being my own boss. I'll be fully honest and also admit that a big part of the reason that I started this YouTube channel was to create my own future revenue source from the channel. I looked at the state of the film industry, especially with the double strikes last year and coming out of COVID, but also just in general. There's so many people who are currently out of work right now, and myself included. I was out of work for months and months and was trying to figure out a way to create my own source of revenue by aligning my interests, which was film, talking about film, and just communicating and trying to help people. So what I ended up finding out was that starting this channel was the perfect alignment of all of my interests that I had in one fell swoop. And while I'm not currently monetized, I do see the value and the hard work of how much work has already gone into it, and it makes me excited to eventually get to that point where it will become a revenue source, me to be just more financially free, but I can really just focus on affording to pursue my dreams without having to worry about moving out of the city. I really started this channel so that I could create the life that I wanted for myself and create financial freedom. I also love the idea of being my own boss and deciding what hours I wanted to work and when. The other exciting prospect is if the channel ever does make a lot of income in the future, this is something I can use to put funds back into my own projects. In fact, to be quite honest, I never ever saw myself doing YouTube or making YouTube videos. And I really honestly denounced it in the past. And so one of the most humbling things is now to sit here and realize that I was wrong. There were so many valuable benefits to YouTube I was missing out on. I thought I knew all the answers. I thought cinema was such a superior art form. And I'll admit that I was pretentious in that way. And so I think releasing that judgment, realizing they are different, has been extremely liberating, and I think eye-opening and enlightening for my own personal journey too. You start to really have this portfolio and real material, and people can look at that, even potential employers, and see firsthand how much work you've put in for the amount of videos that are there, but also knowing you have a style, you have an ability to deliver things on time and put content together people can use to potentially hire you. So in this way, I also see this as a good outlet into a lot of other ventures in my life, whether in film or elsewhere, that I care about and want to be a part of, and this might be my funnel in. And the other purpose of this is to spread good, important information so that our future filmmakers can hopefully be better filmmakers, more passionate, more ethical. This is something I directly see as helping inspire and influencing the next generation of artists to make great art and really keep our career field as a viable option in which to pursue, especially in the future. And also, YouTube is strike proof. So whenever there's downturns or strikes within the film industry, I can still have a source of staying creative, making videos, still making revenue as long as people want to keep watching the videos. What I really learned is people do want to hear you, and they want to hear you being authentic and genuine. And we have a much more fulfilling dialogue because it's based off truth and real connection. So I'm 4 months in, and already I've had such an incredible YouTube journey so far that's changed my life in so many ways. So I can only look forward to all the ways that it will continue to change my life in the future to come. That concludes how YouTube changed my life in less than 4 months. I want to hear from you. If you have your own YouTube channel, I'd love to hear if you agree or disagree with any of the things that I've talked about above. If so, I'd love to hear why, so definitely be sure to comment below. So if you're on the fence about starting your own channel but are looking to do it, then this is your sign to do it right now. Definitely be sure to check out one of my latest videos where we break down the visual effects and 2D animation for my latest short film, Big Break. Let me know if there's any other future topics you want me to cover in a future video, and I will definitely make sure we get them covered. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will definitely catch you next week where we continue to cover different filmmaking topics to take your narrative film career to the next level. So I will definitely see you then.